Hello, and welcome back to Kaiju Kin, Brothers Discussing Giant Monsters. This is episode 2. It's only 4 months late, and this is take 2 of our second episode. We recorded for almost an hour, and then I found out I wasn't actually recording that whole time. So that's
The
fun.
third is gone.
The thread is gone. What do you mean it's gone? Like it's deleted?
Yeah. He revealed
Well,
too much information.
apparently. So what he's referring to is the creature designer for Godzilla versus Kong, I believe, and also Godzilla X Kong New Empire. I forget his name, Justin something. But he had posted a thread on Twitter where he was answering questions about like design choices and things like that. And he revealed a lot of cool stuff, which maybe they got him, but I hope not. So, but according to Cowpoker over there, is gone. So, but if this is the first time that you're watching us or listening to us. My name is Archer21. I usually just do like figures, action figures, photography, things like that. He don't do much. He games. He streams. He streams right now. He's streaming Yakuza 8. And he was streaming Persona 3, Persona 4.
Reload.
3, right? Yeah.
But no one was watching it, and not even he was watching the VODs, so I just gave up. I do have some views on my Yakuza 8 stream, though. I stream on Twitch for now. It's not going to be for long because it stinks. But then I upload the VODs on YouTube.
Valid.
YouTube and Twitch are on the same name. Cowpoker. The Cowpoker.
Yeah. So I haven't posted anything on my channel in a while. This will be probably one of the most recent uploads. I was going through some personal stuff. We've been really busy, the two of us, with schoolwork. So finding the time to record between us both working and going to school, it's been difficult. Even like this, like our last episode was in person. So we're trying this out, seeing how it works. So we'll see how it turns out. But we had planned to talk about that thread that we mentioned. But we can go into it later because I remember some of the stuff that he talked about. But so today we're going to be talking about Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire, the newest Godzilla movie, the most recent installment in the MonsterVerse, from Legendary Pictures, and we saw it on Saturday. So
I can see the reflection in my glasses. It's pretty funny.
well, you were frozen for me for like a good 4 seconds. So I don't know what's going on there, but so we're here to talk about it. Last time we talked about Godzilla -1. As I mentioned, we were supposed to be covering like the original movies, and then when we got closer to this movie, we were going to watch all the Legendary movies and talk about them. We did end up watching all the Legendary movies recently, so in anticipation for this. But
We should have did a podcast episode leading up to it for like each movie, but we didn't have time.
I know. And I wanted to. That literally, like I was saying, that was the plan originally, but we didn't do that. So, oopsies. But that's okay. We're here now, and we're gonna do what we gotta do. So, small talk. We can get into some. Oh, he's gone. Hello. Oh, he's back.
Hello.
You're lagging like
You were
crazy.
gone for me. Oh.
It-
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, you're at like 3 FPS, buddy. Oh my
Okay.
god! Stop. You're making it worse. All right. Anyway, what's new with you? Anything besides the disgusting events that you were telling me about before we started recording?
Nope.
I won't make you talk about that. But
Nope.
oh
Work
god.
sucks.
Anyway,
School sucks. I missed an assignment and dropped from a 98 to a 79.
nice.
So that's cool.
Yeah. I did an assignment that was due the week before spring break, and I did it Sunday at like 10 o'clock. The week of spring break, so hopefully that means that I turned it in on time. Wink, wink. I have a discussion board that was due tonight. Didn't do it,
Mm.
so it's fine. I'll do it tomorrow.
My major makes it so I can't turn stuff in late. Like,
Oh, well,
it's due the day of, and that's it.
thankfully, none of my classes have been that strict about it, especially with discussion boards, because you can kind of just sneak it in there. Like if you do it like a Thursday, then you know. Excuse me. But anyways, so enough about school and how terrible we are at it. Anything else? God, I'm like dying.
I don't think
Indigestion.
so now.
Okay. Well,
Just works.
nothing's really changed for me either. I was just chilling today. Um, Ivy, my cat, she's in heat again. Because we didn't get her fixed. I know. Well, apparently, if they don't get pregnant or fixed in the time between their heats, it just happens again, like a couple weeks later. So she was supposed to have an appointment tomorrow to get fixed, and I called to see if we could, like when I talked to them originally, I asked if we could drop her off the night before, being tonight, because I didn't know if I was going to have off work tomorrow originally, and so I wasn't sure. And so I called today, and she was like saying that it was going to be an extra fee, and they don't have anybody to watch them, and blah blah blah. So it's not recommended. And I was like, whatever, I'll just deal with her one more night. She just screams and cries all night and stuff. So,
Can you get her neutered while she's in heat?
well, according to the vet who called, I'll just say her name, Imani. They called her. I can't talk. To discuss our appointment and mention that it was going to be $500 to $700 to get her neutered, and then because she's in heat, it'll be an additional $60 to $70 because of the extra blood.
Ew.
So we canceled the appointment because fuck that. I'm not gonna pay $600 to get my cat fixed when you can pick up a stray cat off the street, take it to a clinic, and they'll do it for $20. So I was like, can we just say we found her as a stray? I'm like, oh no, she gets her ear cut. Who cares? She'll look cool. It builds character.
True.
But so we're gonna take her somewhere else. But in case her audio gets picked up of her screaming her lungs out, that's why. So, anyways, on to the Godzilla movie. Everybody's already tuned out by now. Cool movie. It was really good. Like I said, we talked about this movie a lot after we watched it, and then we talked about it for over an hour the other night, and it turns out we weren't recording. So it's a little rough, but it's okay. So, when we watched -1 and we talked about it, we basically recapped the whole movie, beat by beat, and I didn't want to do that again. So I'd rather just talk about it because we had mentioned that so much happens at such a crazy pace that it's hard to remember exactly what happened. But so we'll try and go in order of just things that stood out to us, and then at the end we'll kind of talk about like that thread and just some of the other stuff. So the first thing that we both like were pogging at each other about in the theater was Kong getting chased by the like warg dogs or whatever they're called.
Yeah, work dogs.
Yeah, in the beginning, and he had set traps for them, and we were both like, "Oh, he sets traps! Like he's so smart." It's crazy to me. And then we got into an argument about whether or not he learned that from humans or teaches him, you know. But
Bit of both.
so that was cool. And then just seeing Kong just, you know, live on the island, or not the island, but live in the Hollow Earth, and just living it up down there was cool.
He's got Doug as a pet.
Apparently, huh?
Doug as a pet.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Is that apparently Doug is like his pet or like his roommate or whatever because he just took his food, and Kong was like playing with it. He was like, I don't care. And then we find out that Godzilla is then it cuts, I think, to Godzilla fighting Skyla in Rome, and he does like a uppercut on him, which was badass, and then he kills him and and then he sleeps in the Colosseum. Which, come to find out, apparently, because he does go back to it at the end of the movie. Spoilers, obviously, since some of this stuff we mainly talked about in the trailers has been in the trailers. So, if you went into this expecting it not to be spoilers, I'm sorry, but you know. Anyway, so but he goes back to the Coliseum at the end of the movie, which is cute. And he just rolls up and goes to sleep. But it was revealed in the novelization that he feels familiar with it because it reminded him of his home in the Hollow Earth, of that ancient civilization that they blew up in King of the Monsters. So,
fucking humans.
I mean, they did it to help him, but literally there could have been any other way. I'm sure.
Yeah, Aizawa died from it, and then Godzilla exploded from it. So, and his house exploded from it.
Yeah, but he got bigger. He got beefier. So that was cool. And then, oh my tummy. We find out that Godzilla is like kind of a dick of like a ruler. Because he's been like just taking out Titans left and right. Because
only if they step out of line.
Well, if they step out of line, we got Godzilla Defender number 69 over here.
Yeah.
So, but and then Tiamat, obviously, that was a difference because that was after he gets the distress signal, and he goes down there because he thinks he's going to need this big power up, and so he goes in there and stop staring at me like that. Tiamat is not going to just let Godzilla into his home without a fight, so they have a cool fight. Godzilla charges up his beam, slices and dices him up, and then apparently eats him or something, and gets his DNA, absorbs it. Not really sure how that happens, but it's been confirmed by the novelization and the creature designer. And he absorbs that energy, and like we said, we talked about this in the dead recording, or the not recording.
Well, they don't know, so
yeah. But we were talking about how it seemed like he was in there for like an hour or two, and then he came out fully evolved into a new form. But it could have been different because at this time, like the Kong team, which is Bernie, the conspiracy theory guy from from versus Kong, the scientist lady, I forget her name, Gia, the Iwi girl from Skull Island.
The deaf one.
And then what was his name? Trapper, the
Trapper.
Trapper. He's a cool guy. He's like this Australian like scientist guy. Which we kind of skipped over all the Kong stuff that's happening, but
Him and Bernie are gay lovers.
maybe. But so this guy Trapper is really cool. So I kind of want to talk about him and some of the theories that are going on. But he helps out Kong a lot in this movie. And oh my mic. So Kong has like a broken tooth that's bothering him, and it gets infected. So it bothers him to the point where he climbs up out of the Hollow Earth portal to where they were at. And so they sedate him, and they pull out the tooth, replace it with like this really strong metal. They said he could bite through the Eiffel Tower if he wanted to. And then they send him on his way, and that's when they end up going into the Hollow Earth. They follow him back because something happened. Well, come to find out, Kong, when he set off that trap, I don't know if this was the like straw that broke the camel's back, but
it was.
When he set off that trap, it collapsed into a cave, which led into what they call the subterranean realm, which is where Scar King and his apes are. And then I think it was Scar King himself that got out, and because it looked like his weird eyes in the camera. So he got out and he killed the people that were stationed in the Hollow Earth that were observing Kong. So they go down there to check it out, and then that's what leads them to the Hollow Earth. Your turn. You can talk about some stuff now.
Well, there's some stuff I wanted to say. I can't remember. Oh, so Godzilla. How you were saying that it took him like an hour. It could have been God knows how long in Hollow Earth, but to us, we only saw that amount of time in like the upper world.
Yeah.
And apparently, come to find out that he is not fully evolved.
Mm-hmm.
He like stopped mid transformation, and that's where like he's supposed to be evolving throughout the movie, and according to the creature designer, and so the first bit was him absorbing that nuclear reactor, and then he got all glowy and blue and cool, and then he went and killed Timeline, and then absorbed his stuff, and got Timeline DNA in him, which. So the amount of energy he gained burned all the fat off of him.
That's what I was going to talk about.
And so he was just like muscle. And then he's got Timeline's DNA, so he's got like increased energy storage, increased like strength. He's got like different skin textures or something. And purple, inkish. And so that is not his final form, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna evolve again.
Well, it's like this is his mid transformation, so he will. The rapid pace at which he evolved, and then when he burst out and all the excess energy that he had, which is why he looked like that. And like you said, he had burned up his extra fat storage, which is why he was so thin, in his tummy area, which is what like multiple people were complaining about. But
I like it. I like his breedable hips.
Well, apparently he was also designed to look like Mechagodzilla.
Mm-hmm.
Like the MonsterVerse Mechagodzilla, so they have the same like body shape, and things like that, and like the bigger arms, longer arms, like because Mechagodzilla is an improvement of Godzilla in universe, so it makes sense that Godzilla would evolve better and would look like it. So that was really cool.
Inspiration from obviously Millennium Godzilla, because look at him.
I wanted to talk about that. Damn
Too
it!
bad.
Millennium's my dude. Literally, that's like the avatar on our poster that's supposed to represent me.
Well, shut up. He looks like Millennium with the spikes and everything. He's also Mechagodzilla, and he also got inspiration from, I guess, Timeline, and also Kaiju Kin Goku.
Yeah, because somebody asked if he was based on Goku Black's Super Saiyan Rose, and he was like, "Well, I didn't find out about Super Saiyan Rose until later, but he was inspired by the Kaioken." Um, which makes sense because he said originally the color scheme was like a more of a reddish color for his power up, and then Adam Wingard, the director, he made it more pink. He chose that to be more vibrant and like poppy, I guess. And Adam also added on the elbow blade spikes and the it had a name for it. It has a specific name, but like his tail spikes, it's called something specific. Like the dinosaur fanboys were talking about it in the comments. But
I
so
I love
oh,
the pink.
also the sorry, but the because there's another thing I really like. The veins on his spikes were inspired by Godzilla Ultima
Hmm.
from Singular Point, which is also a fucking design that I love. So this guy really like he went ham on this. Like he pulled from almost from a bunch of my favorite Godzilla designs, and it just makes me love evolved Godzilla even more. And I'm kind of sad that he won't look like this anymore. Like next time we see him,
Yeah,
spikes will probably be different. He'll be a little bit thicker again, I think.
he might be red this time because I think next movie is gonna be like his ultimate form, and so if they went for like pink, this one, the ultimate might be like red, considering in Millennium he had like the red atomic breath with the pink spikes or purple spikes. He was more purple,
Mm-mm.
so that'd be cool. I was seeing edits when this first came out, like it was first revealed and all the trailers and stuff, where people were like, "Ew, the pink," and they were changed it to make it look blue or to make it look red. The blue looks, it was fucking Godzilla. I don't know, it looked dumb.
I mean,
The
it
red
looked
looks really
cool.
cool, but just the pink just looks so good.
It's
It
just
pleases
so
my
different
eyes.
from anything we've ever had. Like it looks awesome.
Yeah,
Like there's no other way around it. Like it just looks sick. Because I saw the blue edit too, and it was kind of like lame. It was so generic for Godzilla. Like
yeah.
even in this movie, we see him basically turn into his burning mode, or I guess it would be like one step below his burning mode, where he's just all blue, but he's like got radiation just or like the energy just
I
coming out
really
of
like
him.
the stuff that they do, like with his seams.
Yeah,
Whenever he's like charges up all the way, like in this movie when he was like sucked up the radiation from the uh, power plant, and
Mhm.
then when he was doing like that, I thought he was gonna do like a fucking thunderclap,
Yeah, I know.
but when he was doing that, he was like, you could like see his rib cage. It's like, stop touching
Yeah.
me,
Huh?
stop touching me.
I'm sorry. I got a notification, so I was looking at it.
But and then in versus Kong, when he had like blasted into Hollow Earth, you could see it all like go through the seams. And I guess it does that in Burning Mode too, but it's like red and orange.
Yeah, burning mode is when he's literally like bursting at the seams. But I think that's where it started, actually. Well, it was also the sequel, but um, ever since then he's been doing it more, which is cool. I like it because
Yeah.
because they also lend it to his like bioluminescence, like in King of the Monsters, where he does the display of aggression against their ship.
Dominance.
Yeah. But
And plus, it makes sense because he's fucking full of energy.
yeah. So, but one other thing, because I don't want to like keep talking about his design, because I want to save talks about that thread for later. But I just wanted to touch on what you said about Millennium, because he chose Millennium as inspiration because he said it was a more aggressive design for him, which I agree. Um, with like the spike shape being more like jagged and kind of dorsal thin, like we had mentioned in the Forbidden Realm.
Mm.
But because he said that his new spike kind of looked like shark teeth. But because I think you have my old figures, but like Millennium Godzilla is like he's hunched over. He's got like not really a tummy. He's got like long arms because he hits and stuff. He's got the spikes. Like like you can really see it. Like once he admitted, like, yeah, it was inspired by that. Like you could really tell. Um,
My
but,
favorite design choice of a lot of the recent Godzilla stuff, I think Ultima has it too, is the elbow spikes.
mhm.
That shit is so raw. Because I think Ultima has it, Minus One has it, and now Evolved Godzilla has it. This shit's
Mhm.
so cool.
Yeah, because I mean, especially if Godzilla's like scrapping, because he can just be like,
Yeah.
just shoulder shank or fucking elbow. The alliteration got me.
Yeah.
But because remember in Incredible Hulk when Abomination stabbed Hulk with his elbow
Hmm.
spike and they ripped it out and stabbed him with it?
Yeah.
Fucking badass fight, by the way. But still, like, imagine Godzilla doing that. Like, not necessarily to Kong because they're like boys now, but um, I don't know. I just so let's finish talking about this movie. And then because I want to go into some of the things that other things that they had asked him as far as like next movie stuff. So I want to save that for like later on. So,
We gotta talk about the Mothra stuff too.
well, the whole Mothra Phosphora thing. So I will touch on that, I guess. Because I was under the impression that Phosphora was the original plan, and then they changed it to Mothra. But apparently, Mothra was the original plan, and they had her in the script, and in the novelization and stuff. But they
They didn't
weren't
know if
sure
they could
if
get her.
Toho would give up the rights, and so they created this new thing that was supposed to be like this angelic bird creature. It had like arms and legs, kind of like a human, with like bird wings and stuff. It was like supposed to be Aztec, I believe, inspired. Um, and it was called Phosphora, and I mean it's not a bad design, but Mothra works better and I like using the Toho characters and whatnot. Like I'm wearing my Millennium shirt, by the way. I don't know. Uh mention that, my boy. But anyway. So but anyway, so then they changed it to Mothra because even some of the test screenings apparently had Phosphora. But people were pointing out that it's really obvious that it was changed because whenever the scientist mom lady talks about Mothra, it's always off screen and she's like reading a dialogue. Like it literally looks like she's like reading it. Like Mothra is the queen of the monsters and she does this and that and she is super cool. And it's just like it's like she's reading it off a script or even like it's like AI where it's like text to speech. But and then it'll cut back to her in wherever they're at, and she's like, "Oh, talking normal." It's not like she's not enunciating every little thing, so it's like super weird that it's like added in post. But and then they also CG'd over it to be like they CG'd over the temple where Phosphora was on like all the wall art. And then whenever they talk about her again, like their mouths aren't showing; it's like the back of their head looking at the thing. But they did leave Phosphora in the temple on one of the walls. They didn't CG over it. So it's when they're telling the story of the Scar King and what happened. It's like in the background.
That lightning bug that makes her.
No,
You're too
you
slow.
fucker. That's what I was building to.
That makes Gia touch the button is Phosphorus design, or at least a concept or like early version of Phosphorus design.
Yeah, the creature designer guy. He had initially sent in designs for Phosphora, and his design didn't get picked, but it did end up being that lightning bug that he's talking about. But it was not the intended design of the actual creature. Um, but anyway, so Mothra's cool. Apparently, how she exists is confusing now. Like they changed shit again, so they make in the novelization, it makes it seem like she's the mother of all Mothras, like she's the OG Mothra, or she's either like the original Mothra from like fuck knows when, or she is like some other type of Mothra or something, like, or she's just been in that dimension the whole time, and the Mothra we saw in King of the Monsters was different. Um, People were saying that, like, why isn't she just the Mothra that they found at the end of King of the Monsters, just grown up in the like 10 plus years in universe that it's been since that movie?
True. I forgot they found an egg.
Yeah, well, I didn't send it to you, but or maybe I did, but I did save another thread, which is the inconsistencies, because we had mentioned that in the not recording, about the inconsistencies between movies and comics and stuff in the MonsterVerse lore. Like, that's why I don't even bother reading it, because literally every time a new movie comes out, it retcons something. So, but originally they mentioned a bunch of things in the end credits that didn't end up becoming a thing in King of the Monsters. Like, apparently they were building mechanical titans on Skull Island. That didn't happen. Like, they were building, like, it was supposed to be like, oh, this is Mechagodzilla, or oh, like Jet Jaguar or something.
Mecha
But
King Ghidorah.
no. But that didn't happen, and Skull Island ended up collapsing. Um, unless, now that I'm thinking about it, unless that was like the Beast Glove, because
I
they
was
said
thinking
they
about
were
that, yeah.
developing that on Skull Island or wherever in like Kong's habitat.
Um,
Um,
that the glove is made out of Mechagodzilla parts.
no, it was based on Mechagodzilla. Like, it was inspired by him.
Made
It's
out
made
of
of his
parts.
actual parts.
I'm pretty sure, yes.
He didn't even have fingies.
They could make it into it. Just rip out like his rib cage and just make it into a glove. I hit my mic. Can you hear that?
Yes, I can. Ugh. Anyway,
Anyway,
so but there's all kinds of shit that they said in the like end credits. Like, all the monsters were going to Skull Island. It said that Kong was leaving Skull Island at the end. Like, it showed him literally moving, but that never happened. Like, even when Skull Island was like fucked and the storm and everything, and they built him his little habitat, he was still on Skull Island. So none of that was true. Stop staring at me. Go away. But anyways,
you're down here.
you're right there.
My finger isn't even on camera. You're down there.
You should stop diddling the camera. Stop. No. Are you close?
You close. You close.
Anyways, but what else?
Let's just continue the movie. So after
Phantom
Kong gets
Holiday.
out, shut up. After Kong gets out and is arrested and has got his new tooth, he goes back in. They follow him. They're like, "Holy shit, everything's dead, or our base is fucked up. Let's look at the footage. Oh my god, there's a monkey." And then Kong, I think, goes away. Like, he like just goes does his own shit while they're like, "Oh my god." And
Well, I think.
he goes
I think
home.
He like fell. He like fell in
Yeah, because
the.
he went back to his house and it was like, "Oh shit, my trap." Aw. And then he gets jumped by multiple, like, balding, malnourished gorillas and Sumo, whatever the fuck his name is. The baby that is in everything, Mini Kong. And, he, stepped out of line and annoyed Kong too much that he used him as a weapon, which is extremely funny.
That's been trending. Hold up. Shut up. I don't know if you can hear her, but Jesus Christ. But anyways, yeah, that's been trending for the last couple days since that happened. Like, there's two big memeable moments that happened. We talked about it, but like Kong. Well, I'll get into that when it happens. But yeah, Suko is this little monkey that Kong finds, and he's like, "Oh shit! Like, there's another one of me." And then he bites his hand, and he's like, "Ah, fucker!" and then he gets jumped by the big monkeys that kind of look like chimps, less so like apes. Um, and he fights them all off, and he uses Suko to do it, which is baller. And then,
Well, like,
but these apes, we talked about it. I'm pretty sure that they're cannibals. I don't know if that was confirmed or not, but it's very likely, at least, even if it's not their main food source, which we argued about before. Um, it's likely that they do it to like weed out the weak or whatever. Because they were down to kill Kong like immediately. They had knives and things, and they wouldn't need that unless. Oh,
in
I guess
Kong,
like 'cause we talked about like that big seed, like that big water like dragon worm thingy,
yeah, I'm sure there's
that
other
sea
threats
serpent.
down there that we didn't see.
Yeah. So,
But this one like falls off a cliff and Kong catches him and he's like, "Oh, thanks." Like as, before he dies as he's still hanging. And then Kong brings him up and he's like, "You good?" And then he like fucking attacks Kong. He just
he tries to stab him
fucking throws
again,
him off.
and then yeah, Sparta kicks him off the cliff. With, again, baller. I love Kong. Like this movie, so like in Skull Island, I was like, yeah, Kong's cool, I didn't want to see him die, which I knew he wouldn't. And then King of the versus Kong, every time he got beat up by Godzilla, I felt bad for him. Like especially in Hong Kong when he was going alligator mode and was biting his tootsies and like, scratching him and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, no, my boy. But then this movie, I love Kong. Fuck Godzilla, he's an asshole. Kong's my boy. He's such a giga chad, like the whole movie.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he after he beats them all up, he also actually one escapes, one that looks like the bald monkey from Rise of the Planet of the Apes or whatever, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, whichever one it was. So he starts running off, and so Kong picks up a rock, chucks it at him, pinpoint accuracy. 'Cause he's been training since he was a kid.
Yeah, he's
Domes
always
him
been
with the
good at
rock.
throwing shit. Even
Yeah,
in Skull Island, like tree went right through the helicopter, like through the windshield.
through the pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kong's got some crazy aim. He's goated on all fronts. But so he domes the guy with the rock, and then he's not dead. He still gets up and runs off. And then so Suko gets left behind or something, or he's like not. He's like woozy because he just got used as a human club, human or a monkey nunchuck,
Yeah.
a munchuck as you would call it. Um, woo. But anyway, so he picks him. He's like, all right, take me to your house. Where are the rest of you fuckers at? And he's like, well, I'm not taking you. And then he's like, you're taking me or else. And then so they go on a whole brother bear situation where he goes and he takes them to these different places and he keeps trying to kill them occasionally. And then he leads them to this like sea serpent thing that we mentioned. He's like drinking from the water. He's like, and he keeps side eyeing like Kong and everything. And then so Kong starts drinking the water, and as soon as he does, I thought the water was like poison or something because it didn't look like Suko was like actually drinking. Like, he just kind of like putting it up to his mouth, and then he wasn't like drinking it. So I was like, it's like poison or something. And then no, there's just a big ass sea serpent that lives in there, and so he attacks Kong. Kong's struggling. He like loses his axe, and then he like comes up, and it was very similar to the like the squid fight that he has in Skull Island.
Also, just
Um,
the skull crawlers themselves because they got their little like snake tail and stuff.
Yeah. So, and then Suko runs off. He's like, I'm out. I'm outski. And then Kong, again, with his fucking pinpoint accuracy, throws the axe and it lands right in front of him. So Suko stops, or he trips over it, actually. He trips over it. And then by the time he gets up, Kong's behind him carrying the monster, the serpent,
I think he
munching
throws
on
a
it.
chunk of the serpent, like the head, right in front of Suko too.
Yeah, to show that he killed it. But then he's like munching on it. And so they keep on walking. They get to this like big cliff clearing thing. So Kong's sitting there eating, because he's a connoisseur. He likes to sample different monsters that he kills.
Uh,
So every time he kills something, he eats it, except for Mechagodzilla because it was metal and oil. But literally every time he kills another monster, he eats it, which you know, good, I guess.
yeah.
Um, man, my phone is dying. Jeez. Like it's draining very fast. So we're already at 40 minutes, by the way. We a long out. But anyways,
I just like
so we didn't even talk about our lighting situation. So I got like a pinkish purple light for Godzilla's new form. He copied me. So and then I got my figures here. Like I got Kong and Godzilla because that's my thing. But anyways, so
I have Ultima and Shin on my shelf over there.
yeah, well, who cares?
I
Anyway, we said we were gonna go beat for beat, but I just want to talk about this like Kong part because it's really cool and important. So him and Zuko bond, like he gives him some food. Well, he's eating the serpent, and then Zuko's like, "Please, sir, can I have some?" And then like he's like, "Bro, just," he's like, "Here," and then so like he's like I'll be on camera. He's like, "Here, you want it?" And he's like, like he starts acting like fucking Gollum again. And Kong's like, "Bro," tosses it to him. He's like, I don't have time for your shit.
Because as soon as Zuko kind of like asked, he handed it out to him. He's like, "Here, go ahead." Like he wasn't gonna fight it or anything. He immediately just split. Here you go. And then he was like, Zuko expected to fight him for it because he's been a slave and a baby and stuff in this camp. So he's like, if I don't fight to get some food, I'm not gonna get any food. And so he's goes on the defensive, and then Kong just is like, "Bitch," and then, yeah, tosses.
Kong's like, literally, I can't be bothered. Here,
Yeah.
and so he gives it to him, and then he eats it, and then he starts to warm up to Kong. And then so they finally make it to the cave where these other apes are, and he sees just how many there are, and he's like, "Oh shit!" Like he's like, "I'm not alone anymore." He literally looks like he almost tears up. I was like, "Oh, my boy." So, but then immediately the fuckery starts. You see just how fucked up it is. Like, they're all malnourished. They're like slaves. They're moving rocks for some reason. I don't know what they're doing, digging, I guess. And like this one old monkey kind of trips, and so Kong puts his axe down, and he goes over there to help him. He's like, "Here," he like reaches out his hand, and they're like, he kind of like flinches, and then he takes Kong's hand, helps him up, and so then this other monkey, which is where the new meme comes in, he's like, "Hey!" And Kong's just Chad faces him, and he just keeps going. He's like, "Boo!" And then knocks him the fuck out. And then after that, all hell breaks loose. So then, like, all these other monkeys start acting up, and then like the bald bitch goes and tells Scar King what happened, and then he gets all up and stuff, and he's like, well, he roars, and it's like real gross and like gurgly. And then he gets up, like he's all old and decrepit and whatnot. So he walks over there to Kong and like starts feeling him out, and Kong's just like Chad mewing him, and he's like checking out Kong. He sees he's got a metal tooth. He memes him, points at him. Yeah. And then then they fight basically because, well, he tries to everybody else is laughing, and even Zuko's like, "Ha ha 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 ha, ha. You guys are laughing." And then Zuko goes, or Scar King goes over there and is like, and so he tries to like snatch him up, and so then the old monkey that checked on Zuko when they first got there, and it might have even been the one that Kong picked up, I don't remember. He like steps in front of Zuko. He's like, "Hey, look, I'm sorry." Well, we don't know the gender of this ape.
I think it was like his dad. I'm pretty sure it's a guy because.
Well, I mean, I thought that too, but like if Zuko is actually the son of Scar King, like the theories are saying, because he's orange, and then Scar King's the alpha, he's the only one that's going to be allowed to mate, most likely.
Yeah.
And
So I'm guessing it was his dad, or like adoptive dad, his stepdad, while his mom is being tortured by Scar King.
Yeah. So it's some kind of guardian for him. And then so Scar King's all right, fine. And so he like walks away, and then kicks him into the lava, which traumatizes little Zuko, and he's like screaming, and it's depressing. And then so that's when Kong's like, all right, fuck off. And so they start fighting. And it's a pretty even fight. Like Kong's having some trouble at first, and then he
It's because of
gets
his whip. He wasn't used to like fighting a whip.
well, and also he's like super agile. Like he was like flipping around and doing shit. And then he's having trouble, and then he gets the upper hand, and then immediately Bitch King pulls out his secret weapon, which is a shard of Shimo. Shimo comes out from under this volcano. It looks like Godzilla, so immediately Kong's like, "Oh shit!"
Well, he
Um,
like makes the monkeys like move a bunch of rocks, which blocks off the lava,
well,
and then because Shimu is buried under, well, like getting just constantly bombarded with lava because she's an ice creature. So it's like they have to keep her contained by just spilling lava on her constantly, 24/7.
I don't
Like,
think
that's
it's
gotta
on her
suck.
directly because she comes out of it.
No, it
It's
is.
like a
I'm pretty sure it
waterfall.
is. Because once it goes away, she kind of like walks out, and you see her glowing eyes, and Godzilla's like, oh, or Kong's like, oh my god, it's Godzilla, or at least a Godzilla creature, which it's not. People still think it's like Godzilla's mom, but it's not anyway related to Godzilla.
Well, yeah, like not related to Godzilla, but when going back to the creature designer guy, he said when it was first proposed to him, it was basically he was told it's basically Ice Godzilla.
Yeah,
So he was like, okay, and then like so he just made this thing. So, but so she uses her freeze beam on Kong, and he tries to block it with the axe like he did with Godzilla, but it doesn't work because it's not Godzilla. And then he ends up dropping his axe. He gets really bad frostburn. Um, is that the right term?
I think so.
I can't
Frostburn,
remember.
which causes frostbite.
Frostbite. Sorry, that's what I was thinking. Frostbite.
I think frostburn is a thing.
Well, I mean, it fits this better. Um, so anyway, he so they end up escaping. And like Suko leads him out, and then he's running. He leads the other apes into his traps. But the one bald monkey stops, and so they don't fall for his one trap. And then Suko ends up setting it off. Um, and so that's bald monkey escapes again, and then Suko helps out Kong, and then that's when he meets up with um, the humans in this Iwi temple that they found, which we kind of skipped over. And then that's where Mothra is and all that other stuff. And then so they decide they're gonna try and help Kong because he's like messed up, his hands messed up. Um, so that's when they set him up with the peace glove, which is cool. Um, for what it is, I mean, it's kind of a reference to his like electrical power that he gets in the original King Kong versus Godzilla. Which, fun fact, I didn't realize this, but originally that movie was, or it was the third King Kong movie and the third Godzilla movie, which is why it was such a big deal that they had a crossover. And that movie, yeah, because it was the original King Kong. It was Son of Kong, I think, or King Kong something. And then the Godzilla or King Kong versus Godzilla, which was the third movie after Raids Again. Like that was number three. That's
Yeah.
why it was such a big deal. And as I was reading about this stuff this morning on like a Google article or whatever, it also had the biggest audience turnout for a Godzilla movie, like proportionally. Um, that's only recently been topped by -1. Pause for effect. I'll have to cut this out.
I hate him so much.
Anyway, so did you hear me though?
Not really.
All right. So King Kong versus Godzilla was their third movies, respectively. They had to get the rights to King Kong, so that's why it was a big deal. And if I'm remembering correctly from the article I read this morning, it was the biggest movie theater turnout proportionally for a Godzilla movie. That was only topped recently by Godzilla -1 in Japan.
You're talking about the latest Godzilla vs. Kong, right?
No, the first one.
Oh, okay.
King Kong versus Godzilla, from 19 fucking 50 whatever 60 something.
Yeah.
And then, man, I'm so tangentially, but this movie, because definitively Kong did win. There's no alternate cut where Godzilla wins. Apparently, like it is definitive that Kong wins. And then Kong got a sequel called King Kong Escapes or something. I don't know, but huh?
I thought that was the second one.
I don't remember, but basically, I don't think so because
No, was it the Mecha Kong one?
yeah, Mechanic Kong, yeah,
Yeah.
but I think that was
So-
after.
So it was that, then Peter Jackson, then Skull Island.
There's been 13 King Kong movies, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. But there is, but no, there was 3 original ones. I don't know, because I think Son of Kong. I don't know if that one counts, but anyways, regardless. So anyway, that's with Mechanic Kong. That's the thing that happens, which ended up inspiring Mechagodzilla a few years later, which ended up saving the Showa franchise for a little bit. Apparently, Megalon, that movie did so bad that it ended the Showa era of movies, pretty much.
Which is funny because everyone loves that movie.
They love Megalon, but yeah, apparently that movie did so
and
bad.
Megan and Jet Jaguar.
Yeah. But apparently that movie did so bad that it kind of ended. Well, it sped up apparently the ending of the Showa era of movies, and they started moving into. They took a break and then they did the Heisei movies. But anyway, and then Ibara or Godzilla versus the Sea Monster or whatever. Originally, that movie was about Kong. Like they took this. The plot is basically the same, except it was going to be Kong instead of Godzilla. Like the whole like eco-terrorist group and them looking for their friend and all that nonsense. That's all supposed to be with Kong. But the American company that had Kong's rights, they didn't want that. Yes. So I was right. The one with Mechanic Kong, that is after them because they wanted it to be more close to some animated show called the King Kong Show, and the Ibara movie felt too different in tone, I guess. So they gave it. Toho was like, all right, we'll just put Godzilla in it. Then we've already like done this movie pretty much. So that's kind of funny because if they had just done that movie with Kong, we wouldn't have got Mechagodzilla most likely because we wouldn't have got Mechanic Kong.
Yeah.
So, cute little tangent there. It's on some Godzilla history. But anyway, so the Peace Glove, they put it on.
Reminds me of how Raids Again was almost an entirely different movie. With like a female Godzilla and mating and stuff like that. When it was supposed to happen. And so it was just Anguirus.
Yeah, he gets murked. He gets his throat ripped out and his body burned. And then he shows up a couple movies later like nothing happened.
It was just another one. Just like with Godzilla. He showed up again after turning into a skeleton, so...
That's because another one came out of the tunnel thingy.
Just like with Anguirus.
Yeah, we'll talk about those when we get there. Anyway, we're getting off of the tangents. But... So, he gets the Beast Glove, and then... So, after that, he goes up to the surface, he grabs Godzilla, well, to grab Godzilla, who's just recently emerged from evolving, which is what we were talking about, where the time displacement is kind of weird because we don't know exactly how long he was in there because the Hollow Earth time moves differently.
Moves differently.
Haha, that joke just passed. Anyway, we're back. We had to take a little breaky poo. So we were talking about the Beast Glove. That's when he gets it, and then we were actually talking about like him in Godzilla. So newly evolved Godzilla sees Kong, and well, Kong went up there like intentionally to get his attention. So he was going to bring him to the Hollow Earth to help stop Scar King and his Goonies. So they get into a little scrap, a little fluffle.
Hold on. So the Iwis, did you talk about that?
No, I glanced over them entirely.
So they found a whole like ancient Iwi civilization, and then they were like, "That's weird. This is Iwi stuff." And then they press a button, and it's like leads them to the subterranean realm, where it's like camouflaged, and they like go in. When they first saw it, I thought it was a Mothra egg, because it was all goopy and wom 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 wom.
Yeah, I mean, come to find out, she does. Whoa, fuck! She does.
But then they rip it open, you know, and whoa.
Hey yo, hey yo.
And then they go in, and they're like, "Holy shit! There's a whole Iwi tribe down here." And so Gia is like, "My people." Sorry, that was probably offensive to ACL readers.
What?
But she was like,
ASL, first of all, and I don't know if he actually does use ASL or if it's some other type of.
They were a lot different than they were in Skull Island, like completely different almost.
Not really.
Like, some of them still had the paint and stuff and were camouflaged, and they're like the little trap that they made. But like once they got into the actual civilization, they were actually like kind of communicating instead of just
staring at
their own thing, like in Skull Island. And like,
right there. So now I don't know what setting.
I don't care. So you do that, I'm gonna keep yapping. And so the queen came out, and she was also like very like weird. She was more like cultured, I guess is the term. Like knows more about other civilizations somehow.
She had a personality.
Yeah,
that was her problem.
Instead of like everyone else on the original Skull Island, where they were like didn't talk, just nodded and just like communicated silently, barely moving. She like knew English and like was reacting to stuff and was doing stuff and
smiling
and like got telepathic images through touching Gia.
She did like Goku did on Namek. She was like, "What's going on?" Boop, gotcha.
Yeah. And apparently there's a whole like thing where Ewian from Skull Island, a deaf Ewian from Skull Island, would come.
Well, no, they didn't say that specifically. They just.
I'm pretty sure they said deaf. I was like, that's a little specific, but okay. I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure they did. And so she would come and awaken Mothra, they were the ones making the SOS signal that Godzilla was reacting to, and went and killed Taimon for, because he was preparing for this whole big thing because he was sensing an SOS. But it was from these guys who were like, they were sending it since Ghidorah came down or something like that. And so basically, but it was like less frequent. They're just like, hey, shit's going on down here. Don't forget about us.
Well, they said it's happened at every major event in the MonsterVerse. So like I think they said it happened in 2014 with the Mutos. I think they said it happened with Ghidorah. They said it happened at Skull Island. I don't know when.
Probably with Monarch stuff too.
It was
But
either it was either like original like Skull Island like in the 70s, or it was like before the storm or something. But they said something about Skull Island, and in the moment I thought that they were talking about like when Kong was there, but
anyway, they were like, shit's happening, and basically the SOS was for. I, I guess it was for Godzilla. Yeah, it was for Godzilla because he was the one that trapped all the monkeys down there supposedly. So they were like, with Kong getting close, like living here now, especially like with everything going on, it was only a matter of time before he got out. But especially with Kong now living there, they were like, Godzilla, we need you out, please. Shit's about to happen. They're about to break out. They're about to go up to the surface and take over. So they were calling for help. So Godzilla was preparing, and I think he was going to come down there anyway when he was done. But Kong coming out in Egypt from like running away from the monkeys that were chasing him out of the cave when he was all wounded with you. So he got out into Egypt. Godzilla immediately sensed it and came out and wanted that scrap. Apparently, they were 2,800 miles apart because Godzilla was in fucking like. I think he was in like Europe. Yeah, he was in Gibraltar, which is in Spain, and they were in Giza in Egypt. So they
you
went
look
all
crazy
across
right now, by
Africa.
the way, just so you know. Like you look like you just got flashbanged.
Oh yeah, I pulled up the actual
Like
map. I was looking
you're
at this
white as a
post.
ghost. You're glowing, bro.
I pulled up this post on Twitter because I was scrolling. I was just scrolling through Twitter, and I was like, "Hey, this is really interesting. I will talk about it when we get here." Fucking 2 hours later, there's a scratch on my monitor. I couldn't see it
You don't
until I
have
got
Twitter in night
flashbang.
mode?
Now that my transparentness is on my monitor, I can see all the little scraps and scratches on it. Anyway, but
You
yeah,
don't have it in dark mode?
what?
Twitter.
Yeah,
It is?
yes. I just it's a map. I'm looking at a map right now.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh my god.
No,
You're the
but
whitest
yeah,
man alive.
from Spain to Egypt, basically a straight line. But I mean, they're fucking massive.
Yeah, probably took him
So
like 10 minutes.
yeah,
He also like we made this joke before, but he like swan dived like off that cliff and into the water. He's
so
like,
especially if he was at Gibraltar, went off, swam. So he probably swam across Algeria and Tunisia. I don't know my continents. I'm fucking American. So he probably swam across there and then just ran the rest of the way. And it probably took him like 5 minutes because he's fucking big. Which is weird because they're supposed to be massive in this movie. Like when we had that above shot of Scar King looking at the humans, they literally just look like ants, like smaller than ants. Like
mm.
you can't even see a human. They were just little specks running across. So, and then when that shows them on Egypt, they were smaller than the pyramids, both Godzilla and Kong.
Well, they were like the size of the pyramids, but I saw a post today, which you'll scratch your little autism brain. But Devastator in Revenge of the Fallen was like, pew, he's like really teeny tiny on top of the pyramids,
Oh,
and they
true.
were saying that Godzilla and Kong were bigger than Devastator in that movie for a sense of scale.
He wasn't tiny, tiny.
He was
I
literally
mean,
on top of like where the capstone is on the pyramid. That's where he was,
oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
and they're just like they could have been like that.
Damn, how fucking big are the pyramids? I gotta see them in real life one day, because goddamn. Be like, that's how big Godzilla is.
This is
That's
how
my
big
man.
Kong's dick is. Just,
Well, he's a gorilla, so it's probably like about my size.
hey, yeah.
Anyway.
I'm glad you didn't see what I just did. I was like that.
Oh, gross.
I was like, where's it?
Well, thankfully, I was out of frame. Anyway, so yeah,
It was until it wasn't.
Godzilla basically teleported to where Kong was and immediately started scrapping. Kong was like, it was just in the trailers and
He's
stuff.
like,
He
whoa,
was like,
whoa,
wait,
whoa.
hold on, please wait. You go down here. You see the big glowy thing? Godzilla was like, nope. And then mounts him up on top of the pyramid. And they have gay sex. And then Mothra comes in and is like, hey, that's my
You skipped so
boyfriend. Get
many
off
things
of
that
him.
happened in that fight. Like you literally skipped all the best parts of that fight. Like Godzilla suplexing Kong, Kong doing the go to sleep scene from Avengers: Age of Ultron on him, where he literally beats him into the dirt. You forgot about pocket sand, first of all, which
Mm-hmm.
was fantastic. Um,
Kong
so
carrying him by the tail. And
yeah,
Godzilla being like, get off my ass. Ah.
yeah, that scene from the trailers where he's like turning around and he's charging his beam. That's what people were saying. Like the context of the scene is funny, and I was like, "How? He's just charging up." But the fact that he's getting dragged by his tail into the big glowy hole, he was like, "Get the fuck off of me!" So, but yeah,
It's so it's so funny that Kong, like, as long as Kong's in Hollow Earth, they're so chill. Godzilla doesn't even like think about him because he's like, "That's your space. This is my space. I'm the surface world." And then like the second Kong even shows up just a smidge, Godzilla's like, "Nah,
that's on site.
nah."
He's like, "I let you live
And
once before." So, but anyways, and then
Godzilla could
um,
have went on Skull Island. Like I know there was like radio interference and stuff in the storms, and it was like hidden from satellites and stuff. But like, he's on Earth. He could have like swam next to it one day and like, hey, wait a minute.
wait a second. No, but
Maybe
I
he
think
wasn't much of a threat in Skull Island because he was so small.
I guess. But anyways, so then they go down there, they fight. Well, Mothra shows up, like you said. She webs Godzilla, and then tells him to chill. She's
Control
like,
your
"Daddy,
cocks.
chill." And then he. Well, you don't like that?
I said control your cocks.
Oh, well, I like the "Daddy chill" meme better. It's funny. But anyway, so she's like, "Hey, I'm here. Chill." Or like the stereotype thing where in like romance movies where it's like, stop, don't do it, don't hurt him, for me. You know, people were making memes about that with Mothra too, like Godzilla, look at me. You know.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he sees Mothra and he's like, oh hey, and he like softens up, and Kong's like, what? And then he's like, so they're chill. So they go
And
down
they
in the
like
portal
roar in
together.
the air.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
And
far away
then,
from my
well,
mic.
they have a cool team up shot where they both roar up in the air, and Mothra's
Yeah,
like,
that's what I
in the
said.
middle. Well, you didn't say it loud enough. I didn't hear you. I don't have
That's a
glasses.
King of the Monsters reference.
Yeah. Hey, well, imagine needing glasses, loser. Anyway,
But
so we go down there.
I want to know
They
why
fight.
Godzilla was so pissed off when he was about to go down there anyway.
Well, I mean, he wasn't gonna go that way. I guess I don't know.
He had a specific plan in mind. He's like, I
Yeah.
wanted to go down this portal, and you fucked it up.
Yeah.
Fucking autistic ass.
So well, he's a grumpy old man. So he so they go down there. I don't really remember exactly what happens, but basically, like the apes are about to escape, and so the Iwi's plan is to make these two crystals touch tips, and then that's going to create like a big gravity vortex, and so
Well,
they're
hold on.
going to turn gravity off temporarily, which leads to one of the coolest scenes I've ever seen in my life.
Hold on. The first part of their plan was they knew Kong was gonna go up there and Godzilla was gonna be pissed, even though Godzilla was gonna be in there anyway. So they had Gia fulfill the prophecy and summon Mothra to stop them from killing each other. That was like her whole thing, was to stop them from fighting for this one scene, and then that's it.
It
She
doesn't
helps a little.
matter. We already
She
talked about
helps
this.
a
She
little
showed
bit.
up.
She helps a little bit during the actual fight, but it's like all she does is that, and then saves the humans like once, and like comes on Scar King a little bit. By come I mean her like web shot. It's the same thing.
Shut up. Anyway, they have a cool fight scene where there's zero gravity. Godzilla, Shimo, even Kong and Scar King, obviously, they've been doing it for movies now. They like parkouring around, but Godzilla's doing like flips and stuff. Like he literally lands like, so he like does this and then he's like, "Hoo-yah!" And then Shimo freezes him at one point and he just breaks out of it and then he like swims at her. So he just adapts to the no gravity and just like, man, it's like swimming. So that was cool. And then they have a cool shot where Godzilla and Kong are going this way, and then Scar King and Shimo are going this way, and then right as they're about to like collide with each other, gravity comes back, so they all start falling. And
Before
then
gravity went all crazy, Scar King was riding Shimo. Like he was basically riding Shimo this whole time, like going to the hole where the bald monkey said was, because he was like, "Oh shit," away up to the surface. So he was riding Shimo all the way there. Shimo, Shimo, I don't give a fuck. And so when Godzilla and Kong got down there, how did Godzilla even get down there? He like kind of like punched him in there.
they
Something
just
like
went
that.
through the portal. Like, they just
Well,
went
they
through.
like fell down. Like they fucking doom, and then they were fine. But so as soon as they landed, they got up and Godzilla started running from the trailer, and then Godzilla or Kong, I think he like sees Scar King riding on Shimo, and then jumps on Godzilla's back, and it's like, yeah, I could do this too. And then they ride into battle, which
Oh
I
yeah,
thought
you're
was
right. So that was actually the beginning. 'Cause that's when they come at each other because Scar King jumps off of Shimo, and then because Godzilla Kong only rode on Godzilla for like a few seconds, and then he like jumps off, and that's when they're like going at each other, and then gravity's like woo, and then so that's when they do the gravity fight.
yeah.
You're right, my mistake. So, but then when gravity comes back on, they end up basically falling through the portal. Like Scar King goes out with Shimo, and then Godzilla goes in, and then Kong kind of like falls through it, and so he leaves his axe behind. It gets stuck in the wall.
Because he tried to slow himself, because I think he's so used to going through the portal like that, just like slow down his fall so he doesn't shoot into orbit.
Yeah.
So
So
he accidentally left his axe in there.
yeah, but then Suko grabs it for him, and so he goes through the portal, and they're fighting in Rio de Janeiro. Um,
Also, fuck the Iwi temple because they just destroyed it doing that. So what are they gonna do now? Their whole village is destroyed.
I don't know. I didn't really think about that. Maybe it's not.
Also, what the fuck? Remember they like threw like mercury or some shit into their thing, and it was like, oh yeah, we're making red goop for something. What was that even for?
The Mercury, it was the magnetism or something. It was basically that's what makes the two towers attract each other. Was or like that's what makes their like,
Oh,
towers
yeah.
move. Was the mercury moving and like the metal stuff? I don't know. There's so much pseudoscience nonsense, jumble
And
jargon. Like
Trapper went and got the little machine thing, and he brought in the birds, the electric birds that Kong
he skipped
was
over.
they saw earlier, and then like he sicked the electric birds on Scar King real quick, just during that whole like fight scene.
Yeah. Um. But the amount of nonsense science stuff because like I haven't watched Moonfall, but the people that watched Moonfall described it as just nonsense mumbo jumbo, and I feel like that's what a lot of this movie was. Like sometimes they would say something and it'd be like, "Uh huh, yeah, what the fuck are you talking about?" Like with the Mercury thing, I was like, "Uh huh, what?" And then like the electro camouflage, how does that work? It just electrocutes a design onto your jet temporarily.
Yeah.
What? Like or biocamouflage or whatever. But like, how does that? You can't just make a new paint job like that. Like, what the fuck are you
You
talking about? Like,
sync
it's
up
cool.
you sync up your electricity with their bioelectricity, and it just mimics their design. Duh.
Okay. So anyway, they end up in
Acting like
Rio
it's
de
some big
Janeiro,
thing. Duh.
and then Shimo immediately freezes the whole coastline. So they're fucked. Scar King starts like roaring at humans, which he doesn't actually do anything. People were
She also
saying
shoots into the air and like freezes the clouds or whatever. Fuck you.
this is a mistake letting you speak. Shut up. So I was getting there because I think he roars after that, or like when they first show up. But then she breathes. Stop kissing me.
Also, Shima's got Frostwalker 2 enchantment on her feet. It's a little Minecraft joke for you guys.
I'm gonna let you sit on that for a second. Anyway, and so she starts like making another ice age or whatever. She like creates a storm, and then that's when Kong and Godzilla show up. They start fighting. They have another crazy ass fight where um, they destroy the entire city. Like it's fucked. It's gone. There's no saving that. Um, because they're literally like throwing buildings at each other. Like that was a scene in the trailer too, where Scar King uses his whip, throws a building at Kong, who just punches it. Um, Godzilla, while trying to blast at Scar King and at Shimo, ends up just like vaporizing entire like skyscrapers and entire blocks of cities. Um, and then Scar King and Kong parkouring around, just destroying buildings. At one point, they get the like towards the end, they get the crystal off, like it breaks off. I think Godzilla did it. But
Yeah, he tries to whip Godzilla with it, and he catches it in his mouth, and then throws it away. And then Shimu, or not Shimu, Suko uses Kong's axe, and
well, no, because they play keep away for a little bit first before he breaks the
yeah,
crystal.
I know. Because Kong beat Scar King's ass, or Godzilla was beating his ass, and then he'd be like, "No, Avada Kedavra, Shimo, go get him."
But yeah, because I wanted to talk about like he was evading Godzilla's like hyper beam. And that's part of why it was getting so destroyed was because he was destroying buildings trying to escape, and then he did get shot in the back like Kong did in Hong Kong versus. So
I
I
like
don't know if that's an intentional reference or not. But.
I like the way that he was moving, because it was like Kong was doing in Hong Kong,
Mhm.
but like more lanky and like worse because he's not used to that environment. He's never been on buildings before.
Well, he was doing like cartwheels and shit when he was fighting Kong in the cave. Like
Yeah,
he was literally like I think he like flip kicked him, like he went like what the, like he was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Like he was more agile than Kong was,
yeah,
which
but
I
he's
thought
not
was
used to like
cool.
buildings.
Well, yeah, um, but it was just cool because he gets up when he first gets up off his throne. He's like all like I'm old and decrepit, and then he just immediately starts like schmooving and grooving when
He
he's
thinks he's
fighting.
Yoda.
Yeah, basically, when he first starts fighting Kong. And then I talked about this in our not recording, but I like that he moved like an anime villain. Like I said, like with Kid Buu or Super Buu, where his neck's like this, and he's like. "Ah." So I like that. Like his body language was really cool. His design was cool. I don't know what was up with his eyes. I don't know if he was like partially blind or if it was like something to do with like the energy. Because people were like originally the theories were like that he had like Hollow Earth energy in him or he was like powered by it. Like he was gonna have the electricity powers that Kong had originally. Well, from that movie. But it didn't really mean anything. He just had weird eyes. So,
While we're on that topic, why the fuck is he immortal?
oh yeah, like that was a whole thing that we got into because apparently Scar King has been around since basically like the dawn of humanity. Well, at least since like the Iwi era, which they're clearly not like cave people, so they're like, but like Godzilla's civilization that was there, and King of the Monsters, that was like the first civilization. So even if they weren't Iwi or like maybe the Iwi, but because that civilization, there was like Aztec, Mayan, Roman, like all these different influences all at the same time. Like it was the original, which is really cool. I like that idea. Kind of like a tower of what's it called? The Tower of Babylon or whatever. No,
Yeah.
yeah. From the Bible, where like everything was there, and then because they could understand each other, but it was like the original society, and then it kind of like they took bits and pieces. Like Rome went here, Greece, etc. But anyway, Babel. Yeah, sorry. Well, that was close, but
Yeah. I think that's just a long way of saying it.
you can clearly tell that we're Bible historians.
Mhm.
Very religious. But anyways, fuck was I saying, Maverick? Oh, god damn it! I forgot. I went on a whole tangent. I forgot what my point
My
was.
phone keeps vibrating.
What was I saying?
I don't know. They were talking about his eyes and imbued with hollow earth
Oh,
energy.
the fact that he's immortal. So he's been around since the beginning of whatever. And then, but that led into like a whole debate of like, how old is Godzilla? Like, is he the original Godzilla? And that's when we started talking about the inconsistencies and whatnot, because we were talking about how it's now been confirmed that Shimo did have at least some part in freezing King Ghidorah. But apparently Godzilla from, if you've watched Legacy of Monsters, so prior to 1954, 1956, I think 54, he was like 2014 Godzilla, but smaller. Like, less powerful, smaller, less spike, And so literally like a baby compared to evolved Godzilla even. And even like King of the Monsters Godzilla. So there is absolutely no way that he was able to handle all these threats by himself. He almost got killed by the two Mutos. And then he's gotten his ass beat in every fight, in every movie up until now. Which is also something that's kind of cool. This is the first movie he hasn't like gotten his shit kicked in. But so like, how old is Godzilla? Like, has he been around since the dawn of time? Like, what happened to Dagon? Like, his ancestor or whatever that they found the two Mutos in. And, like, is he the very last of his kind? Do they reproduce at all? Like, are we going to see baby Godzilla? Because
Please.
I want
I
him
wanna
to.
see
Especially
Monster
now we got
Explain
Zuko. They can be friends. But, because, speak real quick. Because God forbid we stay on topic. The designer guy, he was asked about like if he had designed any baby Godzillas or anything like that. And he said no, he hasn't. He just said they asked him something with Godzilla, and then if he and baby Godzilla is like, well, I haven't done anything with baby Godzilla, but he didn't say it like in a way of like, oh well, I might or not yet, haha, wink wink. It was just like, nope, no baby Godzilla. I was like, oh, fuck me.
Well, he said ha
So
ha.
yeah, there's a bunch of people that were like upset about it because I think it, like, if the MonsterVerse is going to continue for a longer period, um,
Have him and Mothra co-op baby.
yeah, or Mothra could have another larva and they'll just have like a fucking kaiju daycare.
I want baby Godzilla.
I do too.
Because he's in Showa and Heisei.
Yeah.
I
I
don't think
thought,
he's
I
in
was like, is there
Reiwa
a
anyway,
Millennium
though.
one?
Huh?
But there's not.
Oh, he's technically in
Final.
Millennium.
He's
Final
in
Wars,
Final
yeah.
Wars. Yeah, I forgot about that entirely. Um,
So he's not in Reiwa yet. I mean, Legendary technically isn't Reiwa, but, you know.
I mean, maybe you can count Godzilla Earth's like offspring in the anime
Then you
because
can count Shin Godzilla's offspring with his
oh,
little
they weren't
dudes.
born. Anyway, we're getting off topic again. Anyway,
In a
how
deleted
old?
scene, he has a little goop monster baby where he,
How
like,
old?
vomits out.
How old are these beasts? Like, how much longer does Kong have? Is my main concern because he's starting to get a little gray. Um, and it hasn't confirmed how old he is. Apparently, in the comics, it says that he was born in like the 1600s, and then he grows up to his big ass size in the 70s, and then from the 70s to like 2019 he gets super fucking big, and then from there to like 2021 or whenever, I know that's when it came out, but I don't know when Godzilla versus Kong takes place. I think it's like
I think it takes
2024.
place in 2024, if I remember right. Or
So
2023 or 2024. And then this movie is supposedly 2027 or 8.
yeah, but so apparently that was one of the inconsistencies, is that his age and his size that he grows to in increments is insane.
He's a Saiyan.
Maybe. But anyway, um, I'm getting tired.
I got open tomorrow, man. Again. You want to see something even more fucked up? Let me
No,
pull up
let's
my
stay on
schedule.
topic. Let's finish this. Finish this out. Finish strong. Um. Anyway, so they. Long story short, we don't know how old these kaiju are. They seem to be immortal. They seem to be ageless. But they. Anyway, Suko, he breaks the Shimo's crystal free, which is like a big shockwave, which also destroys the city. And then so Shimo is free of his mind control stuff. And then so he attacks Godzilla. Godzilla tail whacks him into Kong, who catches him in the beast glove. It's like choking him out. And then Shimo freezes him as payback. And then when I saw it originally leak on Twitter, I'll be honest with you guys, I got spoiled by myself. I did it to myself. I thought he was just gonna crush it, and then when we were watching the movie, even Dad was like, but instead he picks him up, slams him on the ground, and then smashes it into pieces. Like you see his bloody chunks going. It's gross, but it's cool, very cathartic. And then so after that, they all kind of smile at each other, like Shimo, Godzilla, and Kong all kind of like smile at each other, and then it cuts to like the ending stuff. So Godzilla, I think it's afterwards, but Godzilla goes back to sleep in the Roman Coliseum. Suko, Shimo, and Kong ride back on Shimo, ride back to the volcano area where the monkeys were living, the apes. And so he announces that he's king again and that they're free. So hopefully they don't live in the volcano unless Shimo has to. And then so he
I
gets
mean,
off.
she's kind of like constantly spreading ice from under her feet. That's probably not good for the environment.
Yeah.
Send her ass up to the Arctic to just stay there because she can rebuild the ice caps.
That's what I was about to say. But
Because Scala, the spider thing, was supposedly stopping the ice caps and stuff because like he was like, I don't know, somehow him existing was slowing the melting of the ice caps.
Yeah.
And then when Godzilla killed him, everyone's like on Twitter was like, "No, the ice caps, Godzilla, you really are a bad guy." So
Yeah.
just send her ass up there.
I guess. I'm sure there's a portal. Just but anyways, so that's pretty much it. There's no real like tease for the next movie. Like nothing really is set up other than like the Hollow Earth. Um, Godzilla has a new form.
In a new
Um,
house.
a new house. Well, actually, no, not necessarily. We've kind of skipped over it, but maybe a lot of the theories have been that this next movie is going to be more Godzilla focused. I mean, it's basically been
The
confirmed by
director said that himself.
yeah. But that it might be like a Godzilla versus humanity type movie, like we've had in the past, like with -1 and stuff,
I
because
don't really want that.
I mean, the government is pissed at the Titans. They're pissed at Godzilla for destroying all these cities, for attacking the Titans, causing more problems.
Yeah, but fuck the
Um,
government.
yeah, but you know, so
Destroy
because
the
they were trying
financial
to
district, Godzilla.
hmm,
Destroy the financial district, Godzilla. Make the people happy.
yeah,
It's a
but
quote from
no,
the, I think it
so
was the
but they've been
SNES
trying
game.
to. The government has been trying to take over Monarch since King of the Monsters, and
Real quick, why the fuck does Monarch have a whole ass school?
for displaced kids,
Yeah,
like
but
from
why Monarch? The monster
because
facility people.
it's either the kids of the people that work there, and since they get displaced all the time, they have to put their kids in school. They can't just have them not be in school. So if you're a Monarch scientist or a Monarch agent, you have to send your kid to school. And then
But
if they said that there's other people from displaced cultures and whatnot that have been either they lost their culture or whatever, like they lost their homes to monsters. But she's the only one that doesn't have like that was the whole thing with Jiwa or Gia. She doesn't have a culture anymore. It's just her. Like, she's the last one up until they find this new tribe.
well, now she's not because people in Hollow Earth.
Yeah,
Apparently, according to the novelization, they like stay down there for a while after the movie.
yeah. That's why when you said that the temple was destroyed, I was like, was it? Because
Maybe they like rebuild it, or there's like pieces of it left. I mean, the fucking thing exploded, and it was like anti gravity and shit. It's
yeah,
gotta be
maybe it's
fucked up.
built. Maybe it's built for that. Like they clearly knew what was going to happen. So maybe they've done it before. I don't know. But
I guess.
regardless, so the theory now is that after this, they're going to have like a versus humanity movie. Unless he does chill out now that Walker's back and stuff like that, to keep him calm. But
I want a Godzilla and Mothra movie with Kong helping versus a Toho monster. I
mhm.
know the director or the art designer was saying we might not get it, and but like he would love to see the Gigan army, like that we saw in the one like anniversary thing with Godzilla Jr.
No, I didn't see him say that.
Yeah, he said that he wants to design a Gigan army, like that would be sick. He was also saying like Destroya, I think would be cool, and
Yeah,
Hedra. Hedra
yeah,
would be really nice with like an eco based one. I think personally it would work best with Legendary 4, Biolante, or Hedra because of Hollow Earth stuff they can pull. So, like,
well,
Biolante would literally be perfect for Hollow Earth.
yes and no because if you do you remember like Biolante was an experiment on like plants and stuff, and then it had like the soul of the guy's daughter and then Godzilla's cells, and it all mutated
Mm-hmm.
into that thing. So it was a man-made creation, and like yeah, I know it had like good intentions and whatnot. It's not technically a villain creature. Godzilla was kind of the villain. Um, So I don't know. I've kind of been turned off of that one. I know that was one we were talking about.
They can
I
just
love
experiment
Godzilla.
on Hollow Earth plants.
Jesus Christ, that fucking cat is horny. Um,
She just like me for real.
Shut up. But I think Destroya would probably be the best, especially if they're gonna like end it off.
Actually, you know what? I was just thinking, no, that's stupid. Until we just watched King of the Monsters, but they literally ever got. I forgot all about it because it was such a nothing plot point. But they did have the option to destroy her. They used it,
That's
and it
true.
didn't. It killed Godzilla for the most part, and didn't affect King Ghidorah at all. So if the
The King
government
Ghidorah is an
pissed at
alien.
Monarch and wants to kill Godzilla, and they keep bugging them like, "Hey, kill Godzilla," they can just say "fuck it" and do it themselves and create Destroya.
Maybe, yeah. But I think Gigan would be cool too, or like Megalon or whatever. Because I did see him talk about Guy, but like every time somebody asked him what monster he would want to design, he said something different. Like he
Yeah,
said Gigan, he said Destroya, he said
Hedgehog.
Hidora, he said Biolante. Although I think he did say that Biolante's design was pretty much perfect, so he didn't really want to mess with it too much.
I didn't see that, but
Um,
yeah, it is a fucking peak design.
he said that Space Godzilla would be cool to do also, but he doesn't know how that would work.
Yeah.
But like you said, he mentioned that it's very expensive for them to get the Toho rights to these monsters, but he said that it depends on.
I mean, look how fucking much this movie's already making.
I know it's already made back its budget, so in one
The
weekend,
MonsterVerse itself has made over $1 billion now.
yeah. So I mean, clearly it's worth it. And then like everyone's worried about where Rodan is.
Ah, fuck
Um,
that bitch. Fuck Rodan and MonsterVerse. He's such a piece of shit.
yeah, but somebody said that he Godzilla killed him off screen for hurting Mothra.
Yeah.
He got Mothra killed, so he went and killed him. So, I mean, I hope not. Because I just hope that Rodan like learned from his mistake and stuff. But like, I hope that we do see more monsters and stuff. Like, I want to see Anguirus, um, and that's really it. I mean, I like Anguirus a lot. As far as like ally monsters, I really hope that we only get Anguirus. Maybe Baragon. Oh, he did say he wanted to do Baragon too. He said he'd make a sick Baragon.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
that. He said that he needs an upgrade.
um, yeah, he's only ever been in 3 movies.
Hmm.
He was in Frankenstein versus Baragon. He was in Destroy All Monsters, I think, and then GMK. So, um, I don't know.
I think
I
Baragon would have
just I
been.
hope that they do pull from something because even if it's like one of the newer ones, even like if they do something like I do hope they do aliens. If they're not going to do a human threat, that they do aliens because they mentioned that King Ghidorah is an alien and they just kind of like gloss over it. So like I hope that we do see more aliens. Something worthy of Godzilla powering up this much. Oh no! When I edit this, I'm gonna try and add it in like the flashbang noises, like the like the ears ringing. Um,
Nah, that
but
should go away. Thank you.
um, another thing that he said, maybe this is why he got fucking nuked, was because he was saying a lot. Like he said that Godzilla is probably the strongest thing on Earth, but he might not be the most powerful thing in Hollow Earth.
Hmm.
So what did that mean? I don't know. But like, when I was reading this thing that was like there's like a tier list of the Godzilla monsters, and I realized that like original monsters aren't that bad, really, because like even monsters that they're Toho creations, but they were still original in the beginning, like Orga,
Oh yeah, Orga.
Megaguirus, huh?
Yeah, what?
Orga.
What about him?
He was an original creation. Like it's not like he was like a one that they brought back from the old
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Megaguirus, like the only Millennium monster that was from the originals is Mechagodzilla because Kiru,
And
but
King
and
Ghidorah.
in Millennium,
Yes. Geyser
Final
Ghidorah.
War.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I count Final Wars as its own thing because that one is all the monsters.
And
But
GMK.
oh yeah, that's right.
But he wasn't a
But
villain in that movie.
yeah, but Mothra was the only other one in Tokyo SOS. Which I forgot. So remember when I was like, "Oh, Godzilla versus Mothra must be canon," then because we were talking about that because they have like the whole thing. But I was confused. The original Godzilla movie from 1954, and then the Mothra movie, the original Mothra movie. That's what they were referencing, not the Godzilla Mothra versus Godzilla. So I was mistaken.
Wait, who was referencing that?
Me and you, when we talked about it, not on like recording, but like a while ago, we were talking about Tokyo SOS, and we were like, because they do callbacks to the old movies, and like because the one guy, the grandfather, he was there on the island,
Mm-hmm.
but that was from the Mothra movie, when they get kidnapped and stuff. But I thought it was from Mothra versus Godzilla. So, um, but yeah, I would like to see more about Mothra. Even give Mothra her own spin-off movie. Like it's happened before. Like she had her own franchise at one point. And like she had her own solo movie, and then she had top billing on Mothra versus Godzilla, and then the whole rebirth of Mothra thing. So like give Mothra her own movies, because the MonsterVerse could be a lot more than just Godzilla and Kong. Like the other Titans don't really matter. They're not worthy of like a spin-off, and like they're cool to see them recurring, like the skull crawlers and the weird bird things with the spikes on them and stuff like that. Like it's nice to see they're connected, but like the MonsterVerse should be more than just them. Like the MCU, like they all have spin-off movies. So,
Yeah.
and people love Mothra, and rightfully so. I know. Um, but
But I don't know if it'll make a lot of money with like the two of them. But yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Where like every movie now doesn't have to be Godzilla and Kong.
yeah,
Like King of the Monsters is so good
mm,
for the most part. It's probably like my favorite next to Kong Skull Island. But like yeah, their dynamic is really cool. But they didn't really have much of a dynamic in this movie. They do a
yeah,
little bit, but like, and then like they fight and they do the team up, and as it,
mm,
you don't get to see them like high five or anything like that, or a
yeah.
kaiju equivalent.
So, and that's the thing is like it was supposed to be like a buddy cop movie, is what we were led to believe, and they barely interact. So,
Yeah,
I would like to see that, but like I would rather, in the meantime, I would rather see like either a Godzilla solo movie, or like you said, and which basically been confirmed, is that the next Godzilla X Kong movie will be more Godzilla than Kong. Um, but I would like to, like I said, I would like to see spin-offs, because it might be easier that for them to get the rights to make these spin-offs, as opposed to just slapping them in a Godzilla movie for 5 minutes. So I
yeah.
would just like to see more, basically.
He
But
said next movie 2027.
if it gets confirmed.
There's no way they're not going to.
Well, I
Everyone's
know,
already
but
talking
they
about it.
asked like if it was to get greenlit, when would be the soonest we would see it, and he said 2027. So
That's why he got nuked.
yeah, I had bookmarked specific tweets, but like I said, I can't really pull them up right now. Um, excuse me. But yeah, that's really all that I have. It was a good movie. I literally haven't been able to stop thinking about it or talking about it. I've been in my Godzilla hyperfixation for a little while now, thanks to you. So appreciate that. Like I have to, thankfully, I guess, I haven't bought any new figures because all the Haya toys are sold out and they're apparently doing reissues. So haven't been able to buy anything because they're either really expensive or just completely sold out. So that's cool. I have this like bootleg NECA Godzilla, NECA being the company. That I had to repaint his eyes, which I still kind of messed up on, but they're better than they were. And then Monster Arts Kong. I gotta keep it toy related. And then I have Mecha Godzilla from King of the Monsters, or versus Kong behind me. I'm in the middle of doing a repaint on to make them more accurate because he's too plain. So, but I really want a Mothra. I have King Ghidorah on pre-order. I have Evolved Godzilla on pre-order. I have Shimo on pre-order. I did order 2 Skullcrawlers when we were watching Skull Island and then King versus Kong. I did order 2 Skullcrawlers from the fight. So, but because I love doing figure photography. I haven't had a chance to do it in a while, but with the monsters and stuff, especially Kong, because I can just go outside in the grass and like the trees and stuff, and like I can just do some outside photography. So, I don't know. It's kind of reignited the figure passion for me, which has been a little dim lately. So, I don't know. I'm just excited.
If the new movie doesn't get the rights of any original monster, and they don't do something, I mean, I guess they could get something like Megaguirus or Orga.
Well, I'm not saying they have to do those things. I'm just saying they were. Oh, okay.
But like, if they can't do those things, because they're technically now original Toho monsters, so like,
true.
If they were to create their own unique thing, what would you want? Because this movie was basically just an evil monkey and an evil Godzilla thing. So it's just their counterparts, which is a great like concept. It's a great idea. It's a great enemy choice, but what would Godzilla fully evolved and grown up Kong with a metal arm and an axe and a pet ice dragon and a son need to fight?
I don't know. That's why I said it'd have to be some like world-ending threat. Like that's why I was talking about like maybe like Shima, not Shima, like Destroya or like Space Godzilla or something like that.
But those are original Toho monsters.
I know. I'm just saying, like, that's what I was alluding to, was that there needs to be something worthy of Godzilla's power-up, because he really didn't need it for this movie. And if he's gonna finish his evolution, and maybe the raw power won't be as much, but he'll still be, like, a new beast of his own. But I don't know. I mean, it'd have to be something that legitimately makes them like struggle. So, I mean, they could pull from like mythology, like they've been doing, because Scar King apparently is based on some like mythological thing. Shimo is too. A lot of the Titans are either like old cryptids or like local legends or something like that. Like they had Mokle Membe, and like Skyla, which is from the Odyssey. Charybdis they could do, which is the other monster that was there with Skyla in the Sea of Monsters. Like any number of like mythological things they could do, but it'd have to be something big, like something that would warrant, like you said, like maybe Mothra, Godzilla's new evolved form, Kong. Like it'd have to be something.
You know what they could do?
What?
Destroy all monsters.
Like have aliens come down and make them have a battle royale.
Yeah.
Well,
no.
I was gonna say that won't work because
by like a literal destroy all monsters, not like the Destroy All Monsters movie.
Oh, Well, I
where
mean, maybe.
all the Titans get out of whack. All the Titans that we haven't seen yet, like Yamate no Orochi or whatever the fuck his name is, Nessie, the Loch Ness monster, and all the other stuff that we saw in like King of the Monsters, the mammoth guy that everyone's been dying for.
Behemoth.
Yeah, and the like rock guy, the mountain guy, like, and other Mutos, like, just they all start to be like, hey, we're gonna fight back against you, Godzilla. You're mean to us, and so they all just start jumping his ass.
Like they revolt.
Yeah, or maybe the government makes basically another orca that they
That's
used
what
in
I was
King of the
gonna say.
Monsters,
Yeah,
and
that's what I
have
was gonna
them
say.
fight
Because
Godzilla.
when you said that, like they were gonna try and destroy the monsters, that was one of the things that people were talking about on Twitter and stuff about like if they were to like a Godzilla versus humanity type thing, where like, but to an extent, to where uh, so building off of those two ideas, like if they did try and recreate the orca and they piss off the other Titans, and so they rebel against Godzilla, and he's having to fight them off, a la Godzilla Final Wars, where he literally has to fight every monster to get to the final boss. And then you know
And it's
Godzilla,
King Ghidorah again.
maybe.
They
Or
could
like
have it be
maybe
like
they'll use
Gigan.
Gigan. Like they'll bring him in at the end. Like he has to fight all the other Titans, and then they do bring in Gigan still. Like it was revealed that aliens have infiltrated us, like in Final Wars. I don't know. But
And
God, Final Wars is cool. Fuck.
I
Anyway,
love Final Wars so much, man.
oh, it's such a good movie. Like even if it's not a good movie, like it's such a good Godzilla movie. Like it's a love letter. So God, anyway, but like if they had to do something like that, I think that would be really cool. Which is, ye- so
I'm thinking
like,
about Final Wars, man. I love Final Wars.
I know,
That
but now I'm
that
thinking like,
scene with the mutant guy beating the shit out of the alien guy,
mhm,
and he's like throwing a punch, and Godzilla like throws a punch. Like you see them both fighting at the same time and do like the
yeah,
same move. That's
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh God, I can't wait till we get to that movie in the rewatch.
I technically already rewatched it because it was on.
I know, but anyways, so but no, because remember we've talked about this before in our like personal lives, but the original quote unquote, I don't know if this is true or not, but the original plan for Ben Affleck's solo movie for Batman was like a raid redemption style movie where he had to go through the levels of Arkham Asylum to get to Joker, and so he had to fight all the rogues to get there, like he had taken over Arkham or whatever. So something, not obviously not the same, but like something where Godzilla has to fight through the other monsters to get to whatever this main threat is, or like there's a mimic creature that's like mimicking him, or like something
Maybe.
like a chameleon type thing. Because even the fucking I think it's called a parrot frog, the thing from Skull or the Hollow Earth, where it was mimicking like Kong's roars and it sounded like another thing. Like, what if there's something that's big like that, like that's an actual threat, like a chameleon type creature, steal from Kung Fu Panda,
That would be
um,
cool.
like where they're following another false leader, but and Kong has to shut that shit down, or Godzilla. Um, I
Or
don't
they
know.
could have a thing where they're all going like rogue and stuff, and so it's like kind of like a I almost said Arkham Knight, but I think it'd be more like Gotham Knight situation, where it's like Godzilla's fighting all these things, and I guess Spider Man 2 also kind of like this, and like you have Kong fighting a bunch of monsters, Godzilla fighting a bunch of monsters, Mothra is also fighting a bunch of monsters, and then like sometimes they'll just like meet up and be like, "Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I'll help you fight." Yeah, and so like they beat up together, and they're like, "All right, I
Yeah,
gotta
tag
go
team
over here."
takedown. You know what? When you were talking about that, you know what I thought of, which is something that I specifically told you I wanted to talk about. So if that happens, right, and they're having to fight off like these other titans, and they're like just destroying the cities of the world, obviously. But they find out
New
like
Jersey.
Godzilla is like getting overwhelmed. Like he can't take them all. Kong's probably injured again because that's what he does. Mothra's dead because that's what she does. And then
Yep.
so like, he's on his last legs. And then you know who they send? The goat, the man-made creation, Jet Jaguar. Trapper creates a Jet Jaguar based on human designs with Mechagodzilla, the Beast Glove, like schematics. He builds Jet Jaguar, and they go and they fight Jet Jaguar. Fights alongside Godzilla, and he fucks up all these other things, and like helps him take down these titans. Even if they don't kill all the titans, they at least like they'll wipe out some of them. And then they learn to submit again to Godzilla, and then whatever this threat is that's causing them to do this, they would take it out. I'm sure you could have something for the humans to do where they end up fighting the aliens or whatever the case may be.
Like Final Wars.
For the love of God, if I see my boy Jet Jaguar in live action again, I'm gonna fucking cream my jeans, because even that like Godzilla Fest thing with him showing up, I don't care that it's his old design. Suit reuse is fine. Him and Godzilla teaming up, just him doing the fucking rider kick and stuff, like beating the fuck out of Godzilla until who was it that showed up at the end? King Ghidorah again?
Yeah.
And oh my god, I would literally shit myself.
Yeah, and then right next to each other.
Because like Jet Jaguar is a fan favorite, and he's literally in one movie, and then they adapted him in Singular Point, and that's it. And Singular Point, you have him now. You took, you have my figure now, but he has a good design. Like it's not super humanoid. It's more of like a fighting robot, but it's a good redesign. And then to see what the MonsterVerse could do based on fucking Mechagodzilla, I would literally be like crying.
He's in video games, Logan.
I know he's in video games, and that's why he's so cool. Like originally, that's how we were introduced to him as kids, was through Godzilla Unleashed and Godzilla Save the Earth, which is why I was confused that he
didn't shrink,
grow to be bigger than the kaiju or like human sized, and I was like, what does he do? Like, how does he do that? But he doesn't do that in the movies. He's either human sized or big. But
and then big.
Yeah. In the game. So, but God, he's so cool because he's like an Ultraman like reference, and then like in that new short, he's doing all kinds of crazy like parkour, karate shit, Kamen Rider stuff. And oh God, like it gets me hype.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I hope that he does it, because even like his Hawaiian shirt, Trapper, like it reminds me of Singular Point, like how they have their like beach clothes that they wear all the time.
Yeah.
Like I saw that like that picture on Twitter that we were talking about, where it's like them side by side. And I was like, he literally looks like he'd be on the crew of Singular Point.
Because I think the white-haired guy was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, wasn't he? Something like that.
That's like their uniform. It's like the red like shirts, and then. Oh, yeah. But yeah,
I need to rewatch Singular Point.
It's so good. Like I said, I rewatched it with the lady last time you got me in my Godzilla phase. So, and she really liked it. I hope they do make a season 2, but we'll save that for another time.
Especially since they revealed Mechagodzilla at the end.
Yeah.
So. If we don't get that, I'm just gonna fucking invade Toho and like, what the fuck? Because they have so much they can do. They literally showed their original designs and stuff from like alternate dimensions or whatever the fuck it was happening. And it's like,
I think it's like their like what they could look like. Because you're right. It's like foreshadowing. It's like, okay, well, kaiju are here now. They're chill now. Godzilla's not going to destroy the Earth. And
destroy the Earth.
Shut up. But it's like an accepted thing. But like all the characters are there, like even Pelops. So,
what's destroy the Earth?
Huh?
What's Godzilla destroy the Earth? Am I crazy? I know Save the Earth is the game.
Oh, I don't know.
Destroy the Earth
Maybe
does sound familiar though.
I don't know. I can't think of anything. Maybe it's a comic or something. But regardless, so that's what I would want. I would want a Final Wars
It doesn't exist.
Ray Duncan esque
It's
movie.
Mandela effect or whatever the fuck.
Okay,
Don't exist.
that's fine. But that's what I would want. I want them to have to fight a rebelling Titan force, and then Kong gets injured. Mothra may or may not die, probably. And then Jet Jaguar shows up to help Godzilla, and he'll be based on like Titan, I guess. Like he'll be based on a Titan or something like that, or he'll have his own thing that Godzilla might fight him at first when he shows up, like, oh great, another fucking enemy, but he'll realize that he's an ally somehow, like bioacoustics or some shit. Like they'll have the real Orca, like maybe they'll bring Millie Bobby Brown back when she'll be like a fully grown adult, and she'll design the new Orca or something to counteract the evil one, and I don't know. I'm brainstorming shit, but that's what I want.
I already said what I want. I want some kind of battle royale thing where like either like they're fighting and they team up, or in some type of way either they meet up or team up to fight everyone off. Maybe aliens controlling, having the humans handle the aliens while the kaiju handle the kaiju, just like Final Wars. If they have something like Hollow Earth is alive and connected Biollante style in a way. I know Biollante is not like that, but they can make her like that.
True.
Have Space Godzilla would be cool, but it wouldn't make any sense lore wise. Destroya, like government makes Destroya, that'd be kind of cool. Destroya's the only thing that ever killed a Godzilla. Besides humans, I guess.
Yeah. Because
No, I think King Ghidorah kills him in GMK. Technically, he's not dead, I think, because like his heart was still beating at the end of the movie.
he's like an actual demon.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's the only time he actually dies from another kaiju. Technically, it also wasn't just Destroya; it was him blowing up from himself.
I mean, but he killed Junior, so basically. So I'm gonna count that. Oh my god, shut up, you horny bitch. Stop. Jesus.
Here's Godzilla. Geigens would be neat because yes, they already have aliens introduced in a way. Because maybe they can go back and be like, oh, this was the planet Ghidorah was from, and he was like the ruler of the Gigan race until, for some reason, he came and fell to Earth. Because he's an invasive species. They said so himself. So it was like, I don't know.
Maybe. Like he subjugated that, like the planet that Gigan is from, and you can have Gigan and Megalon be from the same planet.
RC is trending.
Alright. Well, let's wrap this up because if I don't edit this, it's going to be over 2 hours long. So, even with the editing. Nobody wants to listen to a 2-hour podcast, Maverick.
That's really cool. Oh, that's really cool. I'll look at that later.
Is it Godzilla related?
There is something I want to show the podcast, though.
Is it going to work? Because I haven't figured out screen mirroring yet. Your messy room.
I got this stuff at FYE.
Damn.
Sorry, I bumped the mic. It's a Godzilla and Kong lanyard.
Oh,
It's got
okay.
Kong on it, and it's got. Show the camera, please. Evolved Godzilla on it.
Oh, cool.
And
That's
it's
so
got
cool,
this little-
bud.
Huh?
I said, that's so cool, bud. Wow.
Thank you. And then it's got this little thing attached to it.
Aw.
And Skablam.
What? Ew, God, Minya's so fucking ugly. That's cool, though. Can I
But
go Jaguar?
Manila,
Get him out of here. I don't want to look at him.
Jet Jagger,
Can I have him?
and then unfortunately I got two of these bitches, so I guess it makes sense because they're twins, but I got one from FYE, and then they had one left when I came back the second time, and they like raised the price to like $9 instead of $7. And I was like, I hope it's one of the many things on this thing that had like, would you react to the price?
I reacted to FYE being shitty, yes.
Oh yes. So they had like the Spider Guy, the original Spider Guy. What's his fucking name?
Kamakarus?
Yes, Kamacuras. They had Shin Godzilla's second form. They had Jumping Godzilla. They had Batra. We didn't even mention Batra. She could be, or he, I don't know. They could
He's a
be
male.
they could be really cool. Maybe have a Mothra movie with Batra, or have Batra be part of Legendary's new Mothra lore. Anyway, but they had a bunch of cool shit, and I got another fucking Mothra twin.
Well,
Yes,
now you
they're
have to
twins.
complete that.
Yes, I have two of them now, but if I get one more, I will just shoot myself in the head. I don't want triplets. But yeah, they're cool. That was from like set 2.
Get him out of here. Jump me. I want to see that critter.
And he's cool. Look at him.
Yeah, I know. I want him. I've asked for him 3 times. They've ignored me every single time.
Sorry, what did you say?
Uh-huh. All right.
I wish I saved the wrapper because they had some really cool stuff on them, and I want. They have like posters on them too. It would be really cool to have all of them, but there's no way that's fucking going to happen because FYE sucks. I looked in Hot Topic because they also have similar things. They didn't have any. They might have some at Lunchbox or whatever the fuck it's called. But
They had him at that FYE that we went to by me, which I won't say location-wise, but
where?
the one that we went to with our ladies.
We
2
looked
months
there.
ago.
I didn't see any.
They had them because I almost bought one because we were looking at it and I said that I wanted to get Jet Jaguar. You're like, oh, I have them already. And I was like, fuck you. Because remember you
Did I
got
say
your Godzilla party set.
Oh yeah, I could
Because
show
I
that
took
too.
alcohol out of your Godzilla's paper cup when you turn 21.
Should I show that too?
No, we're not going to do. We can save that for the next episode. We can have Maverick show and tell at the end of every
Every
episode.
day I show off merch.
And then if I
Look
get
up.
stuff, I'll show it off. I was thinking about getting you something, but I don't want to say what it was because it'll ruin the surprise if I do get it. So
What would I? Because I looked up Godzilla Gacha, and it's like the fucking gacha like game with all the anime, all the anime people.
you're killing me.
Merch.
Can we please end this?
What would I even look up for these?
Oh my god.
Gachapon, Gacha King. No. These are not it. What is it?
Hey. I hate when you ignore me because I know your bitch ass can hear me.
I don't know what you're talking about. What do I look up for these?
I don't know. I don't know what they're called. Godzilla keychain. Like Godzilla.
Ah, here they are. Monogram International Foam Bag Clips.
Okay.
So they have Rodan, Batra, Kamacuras. They had Final Wars Gigan. That's the one I wanted a lot. Jumping Godzilla, Shin's second form, and then the twin, and then like two posters. One of them is I'm showing my screen, but you can't see it. Your shirt, the
This
shirt
one?
that you're wearing right now. They have like the
Oh,
foam version of it. Yeah,
no way.
yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at some
Uh,
Godzilla X Kong shirts on like Etsy, which Etsy has gone so far downhill. It's like it'll be like AI generated art on a Gildan T-shirt, and you pay like $30 for it. Like it's horrendous on there right now.
there's
But
a Godzilla Ultima Funko Pop, and it looks nothing like him. It's gotta be
no,
fake.
but anyways, and there was a shirt that said caution. It was like a Godzilla like warning sign. That was like in Monarch and stuff, but it says warning will spontaneously start ranting about Godzilla or something like that. And I was like, oh, that'd be perfect for Maverick, but it was only for kids. It was all kid sizes.
Oh, come on.
I
Us
was like,
autistics
man,
are so oppressed.
yeah, I know. You
They have a version of
neurodivergent.
this, which is Godzilla versus Kong, where it's got. I think this is bootleg, but they got the little bat guys, Kong, and like, Gia's little like action figure thing of Kong, where he's like
Mhm.
wrapped in like rope. That
Yeah.
another Kong where he's jumping. Godzilla's with blue eyes and Godzilla with normal, and then skull crawlers.
Okay.
But it looks like shit. They look fake as fuck.
All right. Well, IEP, please.
Oh, they also have like little, this version's secret guys were
Can you hear me slamming my head against the table? Is it picking it up on audio?
oh, that's so cute. Well, one of them is the aliens from Invasion of Monster Zero. I think it was where he had like the thing and he's got the visor and there's like a black spacesuit and they look stupid. I don't really
Yeah,
care about
because
that.
those are the original Exilians, which is what
Yes,
the aliens in Final Wars were based on. Yes.
yes. And then the other one is 1954 Godzilla with the train in his mouth.
Mm,
Is a I want them. And it's still the same price, but it's fucking gotcha.
just go on fucking eBay and buy them individually. Can we end this episode, please, before I die? I'm so tired.
So what I wanted to talk about, you're good.
Uh, if anyone is even still watching, they're not now. I just want you to know that. They tuned out.
If
Our
they are, they're a
2 hour
true
long podcast
fan.
turned into your autistic show and tell.
Celebrate 50 years of Gigan. I love how Gigan's little like
God.
TM thing is like his almost like his Final Wars design, but he's like thick.
Oh, I guess it would be.
Hmm.
No, nothing. I'm not gonna. Nothing. We're ending this now.
Jet Jaguar
So if you
Ultima.
feel,
So
I'm
they're
gonna let him just
selling
continue
Singular
with
Point
that.
merch.
Can I kick him out? Can I do that?
Hedra. Guys, look. Chat. Chat.
Oh, I can. Did I mute him? No way.
Hey, wait. No. You can hear
Oh,
me
he's
still.
muted. That's funny. Maybe I should. I'll just leave you muted from now on.
Some of these phone cases are really good.
Did you even know that you were muted?
Yes, I could hear you talk about it. I was talking. I don't know if you can hear me.
I couldn't because
The-
you were muted. That's kind of the point of it.
They're little like TM logos that we kept looking at on the back of like Godzilla Unleashed and stuff. They have like little pop-ups for it, like little stamped pop sockets. Actually, that's what they are. They got Mecha King Ghidorah, Hedra, Destroya, and Jet Jaguar. You want some Godzilla undies, boxers?
Yes.
Some of this merch is actually really cool. There's your shirt. It's $20. Cheap ass.
It's a nice shirt. I probably paid fucking 25 at FYE.
These are actually surprisingly cheap, some of this stuff.
All right. If you don't shut up, I'm gonna mute you again, so I can do the outro.
That's so cool.
Okay. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to this extra long episode of Kaiju Kin. Hopefully you've watched until the end here. I know we yap a lot, but that's just because we love Godzilla. We grew up on Godzilla, and I don't even want to know. I can wait.
The Atragon from what movie was that? Where they like freeze him and stuff, and they try to drill him.
That's from Final Wars.
Yeah, I know it's in Final Wars, but I think it's in another one. But there's a movie called Atragon where he fights Manda.
No.
That's what they were referencing in Final Wars. I never knew that. But like, it's the ship, and then there's Manda like underneath it, and then there's Frankenstein conquers the world, and then Frankenstein versus Baragon.
Anyway, this has been a long episode. I'm sorry about him. He's a little special. He's on the spectrum a little bit, and that's okay. We love him anyway. So maybe we will do like a show and tell thing at the end. We'll see. But I am extremely tired. I can't talk anymore. He exhausts me. I've had a long day. And like I said, this shit has been going well over 2 hours now. And I'm going to have to edit it. So that's going to be hell. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I will try and get this uploaded to Spotify if you prefer listening to your podcast that way. We had the first episode on Spotify. So you can check that out as well. It'll be linked here for the YouTube. It'll probably be in a playlist. If you're just a fan of my channel and you're checking this out and you don't know anything about like what I do, like I said, I'm a figure collector, photographer, stuff like that. So that's mainly what my channel is reviews or customs or just, cool stuff that I talk about. But this is just kind of like a subset of that. Under the Archer 21 umbrella. As I mentioned, this is my brother. He goes by the Cowpoker on Instagram and basically everywhere. Also on Twitch and YouTube, where he streams games that he's playing. So check him out, watch those.
I have to upload my latest streams. That actually reminds me.
I have been watching his Yakuza 8 playthrough, so that's been fun.
Which I'm so far behind on. Oh my god.
So, but that's it. Thank you again. We're gonna try and continue this on a semi-regular basis. Hopefully, it'll be like every week, maybe every 2 weeks. We might have to do some back-to-back episodes. So we only got a couple weeks left of school, so we'll go from there. But that's it. Thank you, and good night.